Whoa. It's getting a bit cool. It's about 12 degrees here. I'm at just outside Longreach, still in the Outback, and man, have I got a story for you. I had a crazy week. There's so much stuff happened. It was unbelievable, and I wasn't on the bike for any of it. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a coffee or whatever your favourite beverage is, because when we come back after the intro, I'm going to tell you a bit of a story. All right, you all settled? So you remember in the last video I said that Chris from ADV Rider Bloke, Chris and his dad, who I've been riding with before, so there's a couple of videos actually there with those boys. So you remember Chris and John, Chris's dad, and he's about 89 years old. No, he's not. He's on a DCT Africa Twin, and for an old bloke he does really, really well, so have some respect, you young fellas. Anyway, John, last time we went riding, had a bit of a mishap in the mud, landed on a log of wood in the grass and broke 3 ribs and punctured the lung. Had to walk him out. So that was that video. I think I'll put a link in here. When I was at Gloucester down in the centre of New South Wales, Chris and John loaded their bikes onto the car, drove down to where I was in Gloucester and sat there for 3 days while it bucketed down rain and we couldn't go riding. Did some four-wheel driving, but it was just too wet. They didn't even take the bikes off the trailer. I've got a video in there about that as well. So this time we thought, definitely we're going to be able to ride. So Chris and John were coming out to Central Australia. We're coming out to Western Queensland with Tony, who was on a CB500X, and there was supposed to be a big CB500X kind of gathering, national gathering, but it didn't happen because of the COVID, right? So Chris on his Africa Twin ADV Rider Bloke, John, his dad, on his Africa Twin DCT, and Anthony on his CB500X all came out to Windora where I was camped and waiting for them. So the plan was I was going to ride Mrs. Jones with those guys out to Haddon Corner, which is the intersection of South Australia and Queensland, and I was going to ride the bike with them out to the corner. I'd already done it before with Neil and Barry back in 2017 or 18, and I never made a video of that trip. I did some highlights, but I never made a video. Anyway, we went out to Haddon Corner. The plan was I was going to ride out and then come back to Windora, grab the Land Cruiser, and I was going to meet them in Birdsville. Because we're thinking while we're at Birdsville, what we might do is we might take the Land Cruiser, all 4 of us, take the Land Cruiser 170 kilometres into the Simpson Desert to have a look at Popal Corner, which is the intersection of the Northern Territory, South Australia and Queensland. So we thought we'll do that. Anyway, over the night we were talking. We went down to the pub and having dinner and just working out the plans. Where we're going to stop at Batuta that night. New pub opening up, and it was their opening day, so we thought that'd be great. Should be a great party. And while we were sitting there, a couple of Tenerés turned up. So there's Chris on his T7 and Dave on his S10, Super Teneré. And we had a bit of a chat to them. They were heading up, I think, to Yarraka, and we told them about Batuta. They said, we'll go to Batuta too. That sounds like an interesting thing to do. So we caught up with them at Batuta. Anyway, as the course of the evening rode on, I kind of went, I know John's had some issues in riding in the soft sand and mud and that sort of stuff, and I don't know how capable Tony is. I know Chris likes to fall off his bike a lot, but it's a really remote area, and I'm just thinking, I was going to take the Land Cruiser out there anyway. I thought it was a bit pointless me taking Mrs. Jones out to Haddon Corner. I'd already done it before. I knew what the roads were like, and I thought, I'll leave my bike in the caravan and I'll just take the Land Cruiser. So that's what I did. I basically just took the Land Cruiser because I thought if something happens, we are very remote, particularly on that Haddon Corner stretch. No phone signal, no UHF, no coverage. An emergency beacon, but you're about 100 kilometres away from any help whatsoever, where at least with a Land Cruiser we might be able to sort something out. So I took off before them, and we'd pre-arranged to meet at a spot about 40 k's down the road, and I sat there and I waited. this caravan just pulled in. He said, "Oh, you're those bike fellas. What are you filming? You doing some sort of doco or something?" We said, No, just some YouTube stuff. But he said, "Oh, no, your mates." I said, "Have you seen the bikes? Because I've been sitting here for quite a while waiting." And he just said, "Oh, no, they had one of the wheels off one of the bikes and looked like they were changing tyres or tubes or something." And I went, "Okay, somebody's had a flat, so that's why they're taking so long." And he did say they were filming that. So obviously Chris has got his cameras on and they're recording the flat tyre on the side of the road, which is a bit odd out here that they should have a flat. But anyway, they'll be along shortly and we'll have a chat to them and find out what happened. Caught up with them. So Chris had a flat tyre, so he was changing a flat tyre.
I guess you're wondering why we've been so long.
Oh, I believe you had a flat tyre.
Yeah, someone already told you.
Yeah. Who was it?
Me.
Oh, no.
It was a pitch flat, but it was all sand. I don't think I got it there. It must have been a cattle crate at some point. Pitch flat.
You got video of the changing tyres?
Yeah.
Anyway, took off down the road again, got to the Arabarri intersection, and I hear because Chris has got a UHF on his bike. He carries it on his jacket, and he's called me. He's gone, "Oh, Steve, can you come back, please?" So I went back, and he sure enough had another flat tyre. I was just about to say, "Woohoo! We've hit the dirt." But you'll see, I'm heading north again now. It's got Chris on the two-way just called me and said he's got another flat tyre. So we're heading back now to render assistance if needed.
Yeah, the film crew.
Oh yeah, film crew's arrived.
Second flat in half an hour.
See you,
No. It turns out one of the washers off the valve stem had ended up in the tube and it was cutting these perfect holes in his tube. So did two tubes, 2 tyre changes. Anyway. Here come the Tenerate Tragics. The Honda, mate, doesn't need it. Doesn't need it. Very nice. Your tent bag's seen better days.
Sorry?
Your tent bag's seen better days.
Oh.
What happened? We pick up on these.
There was a washer in the tube.
In the case?
No. At some stage when he's put the new tube in,
Yeah.
he's got the one of the spaces off the valve stem dropped into the tyre, and then he's put the tube in on top of that and inflated it. It's just cut a perfectly round hole.
We've already done 1200 k's.
Yeah, it's strange. On tube,
So
two tubes.
who changed it?
The owner.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
He wouldn't let me do it.
right.
Taking off down the road, and we ended up at Haddon Corner. And I took off because I wanted to get all the bull dust and all that sort of stuff out of the way before the guys came along. So I took off down the road, and it was pretty deep, bull dusty kind of sand. And I get another call on the UHF going, "Hey Steve, can you turn around and come back?" And I went, "Yeah, there was just something in his tone of voice." And so I turned around, just had a call from Chris on the two-way, and he's asked me to come back. So I didn't explain what the problem was, but something's going on. This track that we're on is the track from Arabarri Road out to Haddon Corner, and there's quite a lot of bull dust and deep sandy patches. So sure enough, Tony had a spectacular off. It was like fantastic. Now, I'm only saying that because he was uninjured. He got a couple of bruised ribs around the back. He's obviously done a big tank slapper, and then crossed the bike up, and he's been high-sided, and he landed about 3 metres from where the bike took off, but the bike's then continued to tumble and just self-destructed basically. So
You alright? He's not moving. Don't move, don't move. Don't move, mate. Steve, can you come back, please? Fingers?
Yep.
Toes?
Yep.
You copy, Steve? Well, take a photo first.
I don't know if I want to take a photo of this.
looks like Tony's had a significant off. Let's go and have a look.
Ended in tragedy.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Alright.
It's the main thing.
Did a number on it.
Yeah. Everything else okay. Took a bit of a hit to the head, I think. I think that fishtail tells the story.
Yeah, look at that. See the fishtail. He's got a bit of a wobble up. Basically, okay, I've driven over the tracks, but unfortunately, it looks like he's taken off here, and he's landed here. That's about 3.5 metres. At about 11 feet. So that's quite a good jump you did there, mate. Yeah, looks like you jumped about 3 metres. What'd you say, mate?
I didn't want Steve getting any video of me being stupid.
But that's a pretty impressive kind of fishtail you've done up the road. So we couldn't get the bike going again, so we had to basically leave it there. Tony was okay. He had, as I said, a couple of bruised ribs, which only really hurt him when he laughed. And so we were laughing quite a lot, and every time he, oh! Anyway, poor bugger. But we're in the middle of nowhere, and really glad to have the four-wheel drive, so we were able to load him in, load all his stuff. We then went out to Haddon Corner anyway, because that's why we were there, and Chris flew over. There's two big sand dunes there, and Chris flew over them on the way out, and then on the way back we had the drone up because we wanted to catch him riding over the dunes. And of course, when the cameras come out, apparently it's my fault. When the cameras come out, then people fall off their motorbike. So he was okay, but he did this spectacular, absolutely spectacular power slide across the top of a hill, but then it just all went south, and I'll show you a very slow motion version of that. Okay?
Yeah.
Did you get that?
Absolutely.
That was a good skid.
It's very impressive. Anyway, we decided what we would do is we were still going to Batuta. Tony left the CB500X. He stroked its main and said his goodbyes and then put it down because the 500 was all over. Has since been written off by the insurance company, but it was out in the middle of the desert. We had no way of getting it, and it wouldn't start. There was the problem. Anyway, it was a bit of a mess, and there was wires cut and all sorts of problems with it. Went to Batuta. Tony jumped on the phone to the insurance company, got all that sorted out. Now Robbo, you've seen the video about the Batuta Hotel. Robbo offers a recovery service. He's got an old international truck there with a tilt tray on it, and he went out to the desert and picked it up the next day. Chris and Dave from the Teneres, they turned up, and we all had a great night around the fire at Batuta, and they cooked up they'd camp oven. They had roast lamb and roast pork and roast veggies in these camp ovens. It was absolutely fantastic. It was one of the best camp meals I've had in a long time. It was fantastic. Anyway, we went to Birdsville, and as we're at Birdsville, we're going, okay, well, let's load everything in the four-wheel drive and we'll head off out to Popal Corner, because Popal Corner is the intersection of the Northern Territory, South Australia and Queensland. Pretty hard to get to because it's across 170 kilometres of the Simpson Desert. So there's about 300 odd sand dunes you've got to cross. Average speed for us that day was 30 kilometres an hour. It took us 13 hours. I mean, we stopped and took photos and videos. We saw camels and wildlife of every sort. Absolutely fantastic. If people think the desert is dead, they need to get out there. It was alive and teeming and green, and it was absolutely fantastic. So we had a great day. While we're out there, we caught up with these three guys on DR650s who had come over from Western Australia. So they'd trailered their bikes from Western Australia to South Australia. They'd gone up to Mount Dare on their 650s across the desert into Birdsville. They're going from Birdsville back down to Whyalla via the Birdsville track.
Yeah. Hey mate, how you going?
Yeah, good yourself.
Good. You got a proper bike. That's good.
Yeah, she's done well so far.
Yeah.
It's just the three of us.
Okay. Thanks.
What's the track like?
Oh, it's pretty compact and hard like this.
Right.
Till you get to the edge of the national park.
Right.
Because this looks like they had rain. Did you guys get rain?
We did.
Yeah,
no,
okay.
Mate, the lake. How far are you guys going?
Oh, just Popal.
Oh yeah.
And then back again.
Well,
But once you get to the edge of the border of the national park, it dries out. It's really soft and powdery after that.
And is there a river crossing or a creek crossing?
Yeah, nothing in it.
Oh,
Dry.
dry.
Air creek.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
We've
We've had enough.
We left our bikes at Birdsville.
Sorry?
Left our bikes at Birdsville.
Oh, okay.
Bloody did.
What do you got?
Africa Twins.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't want to be there. No.
That's why
Mate,
why we're in this.
You watch videos of guys doing it on 1090s and 1190s.
Yeah, too
I
hard.
don't know how they do it.
No. So the bakery's not open,
Oh,
but they're doing coffee at the pub.
excellent. And the pub's open for rooms?
If you got one. If you got one.
Oh, is
They're
it
all
pretty
booked. They
full, is
reckon
it?
they're pretty booked out. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. But they've only got half of it open. They haven't opened the lodge either.
Oh,
So they're only just doing the rooms at the back of the hotel. Caravan park's open.
Yeah,
They might have cabins.
yeah, righto.
Didn't check.
All right. I'm done with the tent and a mattress.
Can't imagine why.
See ya.
Take it easy. The mighty DR650.
Yep, can't kill them.
So we had a really good chat to them in the pub that night, and showed them some pictures that we took of them and some video. But that was really cool catching up with them both in the desert and back at the pub at Birdsville. And it was a really, really fantastic couple of days. And although I wasn't on a motorbike, it was just filled with motorbikes and motorcycle adventures and big bike adventures. It was really amazing. So that's it. I mean, the trip was an absolutely fantastic week. Really, really glad Tony's okay. Really glad we had the Land Cruiser there, because that solved a whole heap of issues. Go to the Batuta Hotel. Seriously, if anybody's anywhere within cooey of that on a trip out that way, just call into the Batuta Hotel. Those guys are fantastic and really will take care of you. But that's it. It's not a bike video, but man, what a week. That was fantastic, and I had a great time, and I'm going to do some riding this week. I plan to. As I said, I'm out the back of Longreach, which is kind of a little bit further north from Windora, and I'm going to start moving my way back down. There's rides going on everywhere at the moment, and I'm being invited to different rides all over the place. I may end up back down in South Australia. A couple of KTM boys and Neil are doing a ride into the Flinders, so I may go there. As I said, I may go up into the Northern Territory territory and back down around that way. I just don't know. Lots of stuff going on. Just imagine a life where the trip doesn't finish. That's where we are. Thanks for watching. Over and out.